This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a crucial point approaching for the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, has announced that following 2 extensions this month, the government will decide if the expired portions of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement will continue. Tonight, ahead of that decision comes the views of a top executive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority as they stand at this major crossroad. John Davis Roll reports.
In an exclusive interview with ZNS News, Sarah St. George sat down to address a myriad of issues. Foremost, though, the pending decision to be made by the government regarding the extension of certain aspects of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. 60 years after the original document was crafted by the pioneers of Freeport, Sir Jack Haywood and Edward St. George, the next generation of the St. George and Haywood families now sit at the helm of the port as a decision is imminent.
I think unquestionably Grand Bahama has been a great success as a model. We know that the Hawksbill Creek Agreement signed in 1955 really transformed the island. We've heard it many times before, but it's true. From an island that was essentially a pine barren to the kind of thriving community that we have today. Now, it could thrive more, there's no question about it.
The great-grandson of the late Sir Jack Haywood, Rupert Haywood, recently joined the top tier of the company and was introduced to the Grand Bahama business community, bringing what officials hope will be the business expertise and synergy needed to move the port forward. The vice chairman of the port, who spoke candidly, laying out the port's case as to why the company believes an extension to the expired provisions should be granted.
My view, of course, is that it would be very beneficial to Freeport for those concessions to be extended for another 20 years. And the committee made that recommendation, and I commend them for that. I think that those kinds of incentives will stimulate the economy hugely in the same way they did in 1993. There was enormous growth after 1993. $4 billion worth of investment.
Reports say that while the port is hoping for the best, reaction has been mixed. Others contend that a decision to extend the Hawksbill Creek Agreement would be the worst decision the government could make. Some are questioning the 60-year-old company's relevance to Freeport's future growth and development in 2016 and are calling for the port in its current form to be disbanded. Sarah St. George responded to that call this way.
I welcome all those different views because I think you can take from them and see the areas that need to be rebuilt.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Thank you, Joan. Well, join ZNS later this week for more on this exclusive interview with co-chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority during a special half-hour program right here on TV 13. Meantime, the Grand Bahama Port Authority continuing efforts to improve businesses on the island. This week, the company will be hosting an e-commerce seminar targeting the online business sector. Senior Manager of Business Development, Derek Newbold, says they have partnered with some experienced businesses to put on the 2-day seminar.
One way of gaining a competitive advantage is by establishing a very strong presence online. And it is against this backdrop that the Grand Bahama Port Authority, through its Invest Grand Bahama Small Business Bureau, is pleased to offer e-commerce strategy training to our licensees this coming Wednesday at April 20th and Thursday at April 21st at the Convention Center, Canal House at Pelican Bay. We're also very pleased with the lineup of presenters that we've been able to assemble.
Various presenters will provide insight on how they have created an online presence and the key to sustaining a successful website.
The focus for us this week on Wednesday and Thursday is how does a company create a website? What's the process? And then how do they turn that into actual business? How does that become something that's not just an online brochure, but is something that actually generates new business that they didn't have before? How do they communicate better with their customers? How do they attract new ones? But beyond that, it's how do they, once the site is created, how do they then maintain it and sustain it?
We will be sharing our e-commerce platform and its amazing features, the process and requirements. More importantly, you will learn of the benefits that you as a merchant can enjoy and the simplified solutions to online selling for local merchants who are ready to take their businesses to the world and to the next level.
We're extremely excited to participate in West Grand Bahamas e-commerce training seminar and workshop, just to be able to share our different strategies and ideas and concepts as to how we've entered the online e-commerce platform for our personal business. And we're just extremely excited to be able to share that knowledge and give a different perspective as to branding and e-commerce solutions in the Bahamas especially.
In other news, the government is spending in excess of $1 million on the construction of a storage facility for several agencies on Grand Bahama. Work is progressing, and this week the Minister for Labor stopped by for a tour. Megan Shepherd was there.
Minister of Labor and National Insurance, the Honorable Shane Gibson, on island over the weekend, using the opportunity to tour a new storage facility located behind the C.A. Smith complex. 4 government agencies are currently in the complex, and Minister Gibson notes that each has complained of the same issue, that unfortunately during construction of the building, adequate storage was not incorporated.
They were anxious for us to look at the possibility of constructing a storage facility for each of the agency that would accommodate their needs. And so based on what I've seen so far, I'm very pleased with the construction on this site, and we hope that it'll be finished in short order. I believe he's on schedule. If he's off schedule, he need to get on schedule, but I think he's on schedule.
Minister Gibson notes that he is pleased with the workmanship thus far and that this facility will be very beneficial to all of the agencies. We, of course, got an architect, Mr. Aaron Lewis, who met with them individually, got what their needs were, and they designed this facility. And so you have 4 bays in here, which is supposed to be assigned, 1 to immigration, 1 to customs, 1 to the passport office, and 1 to the Ministry of Education. And so this would eliminate them having to have off-site storage facilities where everything can be done right here on site, where their main offices are here in Grand Bahama. Mike Edwards of Pinnacle Investments Construction is the contractor for the project and says that he is indeed pleased to have been chosen to carry out the construction of the 14,000 square foot building.
We are progressing along extremely well. We had a 8 months contract with the National Insurance Board, and I am pleased that to date we are on time and on schedule. We should be completed within the next 4 to 6 weeks. We should be out of here and would be able to turn over the facilities to our client.
The budget for the new facility is approximately $1.3 million. Megan Shepherd, ZNS Network News.
Gears now, an investigation is underway into a fire at the Freeport container port. The fire was reportedly contained to a crane at the transshipment terminal. Black smoke could be seen coming from one of the cranes on Sunday morning. Officials at Freeport container port confirmed damage to a crane as a result of yesterday's fire. According to the officials, active safety measures and a timely response ensured minimum damage and no injuries. The incident did not interrupt operations. Officials noted that while early findings are being assessed, investigations continue. An independent industrial consultant says Hutchison Port Holdings Bahamas business units remain committed to the safety and the well-being of its personnel and property. In other news, seafood vendors working from a temporary market near the International Bazaar say the time has come to move to a more permanent location. The vendors say this time they want a more appropriate site. Megan Shepherd reports.
Seafood vendors have been operating at the market site located behind the International Bazaar since 2009. The site was intended to be a temporary location provided by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, but some 7 years later, vendors are still at that site.
Some days it's better than others, right? Like I say, like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? People come over here to get this count to prepare for the weekend. Yeah, but some people don't know we're in the back here. Still, it's not publicized much, you know what I mean?
Some days you could be here all day just trying to sell a coolers of fish. Some day you could come and sell 1, 2, or 3 cooler like that. Most of the weekend you could make a few dollars. But right now, it ain't too good right now.
The only time when business is blooming is when government payday.
Herman Walker says he believes that the fishermen should be located near a body of water as it lends for more sanitary conditions. Another who did not wish to be on camera says that a more centrally located area is needed.
It should be about a seaside where you got salt water, you can clean your fish properly, and you can get the job done. You know, and you won't have all the flags, and when time to clean up, it's be more presentable. You know, here it's hard to keep all your clean the way you should, because that's the way how it's set up.
What you need is a more popular area, like near town. You know what I mean? Like out here, anybody coming from all the way out town or Hudson or whatever, for no count.
Walker says he has an idea as to where the group should be moved to.
They look at the fishing all road. I believe you can get there set up, you know, kind of perfect because you got the salt water, traffic flow, and I think it'd be an ideal place to put for fishermen to come and just, you know, sell their stuff and put conchs in the water or whatever at the end of the day. And the people, they'll get used to it. They can go right there and get all this stuff.
Now, reports say the vendors were placed at the temporary site with the intention of expansion. Officials say since the area was never used to its full potential and there has not been a demand for additional space, the temporary site will remain at the marketplace for some time to come. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news right after this.